New York, big city of dreams.
NYC.
Let's go. What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from the Nick of Time Show. Here to give you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And guess what? Knicks won 3 in a row, guys. Knicks just won 3 in a row. Yeah, we had a couple of days off, and it shows today because the Knicks just beat the Kings 143 to 120. OG Anunoby snaps out of his slump, gives you 33 points, 2 steals, and 4 assists on the night. Josh Hart rolled out of bed because he had a lot of rest. He had a triple-double, gave you 20 points, 11 assists, 18 rebounds, and 2 blocks from Josh Hart. Let's go. Cat gives you 18 points, 15 rebounds. Bridges gives you 27 points and 7 assists, but he was gone. Brunson gives you 25 points, 11 assists. You seen out of here. The Knicks passing that rock, and guess what? The Knicks gave you 40 assists on the night. With 61 rebounds to boot. The bench points was dead even, 20-20. And the Knicks won 3 in a row and beat the Kings. Good win, great win. They never was behind the entire game. We're going to talk about it all, the good, the bad, the ugly. That's some good to talk about against a Kings team, who's been playing a lot better lately. So let's get to it. Before we get to it, I'm going to introduce you to my peoples. First and foremost, it is the Latin assassin, ESPN contributor, Bleacher Report contributor, my guy, Lee Escobedo. What's going on, Lee?
Brother Jay Ellis, Ebony, great to see you after a great win. This was a Jay Ellis win, I feel like. I tweeted that this game had everything that he loves. Both of our Wingstop going off at the same time, sharing the ball, 40 dimes,
Yes.
dominating the boards,
Yes.
great rotations, bench actually mattering and contributing. Brunson not having to carry the whole load, but still showing that he can be 20 and 10 with the assist. Cat being able to hit the night off, but still racked up a double-double. Tibbs making the right adjustments and rotations. This had a Jay Ellis stamp for approval all over the place. So I thought about him as I was watching the game, and I'm very happy to be able to talk about it with him and Ebony tonight.
Absolutely. Wire-to-wire wins, 40 assists, some defense, some pressures. There's a lot to talk about, man. I loved all of it. Ebbs, our D1, ex-D1 ball over here. How you doing?
I love it. I almost wore my jacket again. Knicks playing Knicks basketball, looking like we're gelling. A lot of stuff that we've seen prior games have translated, and the games keep going, and we're building off of it. Shout out to the whole team. I can't wait to talk about this game. It's a lot to talk about. A lot of adjustments. We still got some flaws, and Sacramento came back using our flaws.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, when I talk about moving the ball and making things, playing smarter, not harder, that was us today. Definitely some smart basketball played on both ends, I thought, today.
Yeah, the drive and kick game was kicking today for sure. Everybody ate, everybody shared the plate, and the beneficiary today, to me, had to be OG Anunoby, who's probably had his best game since his 40-point outburst versus the Nuggets in November. Since then, he kind of been up and down, had 2 games where he actually shot well, but today was not the case. Took advantage of the lack of size of the Sacramento Kings because, he's straight up bigger than everybody. So he was able to cut to the basket, get a couple of dunks, get a lot of easy baskets, get going and getting comfortable that way. Then the corner 3 that he's known for started to come back to life again. He hit corner 3 after corner 3. He looked decisive. He looked like he knew what he was doing. There's been times this season where he didn't look like he didn't know when to shoot or when to drive. He came in here being really good at that secondary playmaking and playing off of a scramble defense, and it seemed like he's lost that for this stretch, but he gained it today. So I was really encouraged by OG Anunoby on both ends of the ball today, offensively hitting the threes, taking advantage of his size defensively, doing what OG Anunoby does. Really happy with what OG did today.
Facts, and it brings us back to some of the conversation we had last post game when we were talking about the missed shots coming from him, but they're being in the flow of the offense. You know, some of them are daggers we needed them to go through, and it hasn't. But everything's been short. So, granted, Josh Hart said the Menace Police can take a break today. We saw what rest can get our players,
Yep.
so I don't know if it's going to get a rest. You get what I mean? It's more so like, look what happens kind of vibe, to be honest, because it was an extra step for everybody, just the effort, like going after loose balls and hustles and second chance punch. But OG, especially, those shots weren't short today. Very lively, had a first step, bouncing his first step. All of those, looking very bouncy on both ends.
Yeah.
Shutting down on defense, also in the passing lanes, in the help rotations. Making it difficult for Sacramento scorers. So yeah, shout out to OG who just played an all around good game. Like we a lot of players definitely did. I can't wait to talk about Jalen Brunson and Hart also, but a lot of teams just doing it other ways, and a lot of players just doing it other ways, and we just looked a lot bouncier today. On both ends, because it was constant movement on offense. I've asked for this for a very long time, and I want to say for 4 quarters we didn't go ISO ball dominated like we normally do. It was very ball movement. Mikal on cuts, OG on cuts, hitting Josh Hart on cuts. Same with Precious. Just constant movement today, and I loved every minute of it.
This was probably the team's best overall offensive output. At least, I don't think this was the best win of the season, but it was the most impressive win in terms of all the things that we've been wanting to see, as Ebony talking about, showing themselves and the wealth being spread amongst the entire starting five, but also seeing bench players having moments, including Precious Achiuwa and my main man, Landry Shamet. But let's talk about the Sacramento Kings and why this win is important. The Kings have been playing very well since firing Mike Brown and elevating Doug Christie, a former team player himself and a former Knick. I believe he played like 2 years here. But the Kings have won 10-3 coming into this game tonight with wins against the Miami Heat, the Boston Celtics, and Houston Rockets, and a few other very tough teams. And most, even their losses, they've been at least mildly competitive. One of those reasons is because of the adjustments that Christie made, which showed themselves tonight, which was inserting Malik Monk into the starting lineup for Kevin Huerter, gives you another scoring option and allows Fox to go off ball, which can be very dangerous. Unfortunately, he's suffering from some injuries, so he was a little limited tonight, but he's still a decoy, and he still calls for gravitational pull when he's on offense, as well as Keon Ellis going from being a DNP to being a very core part of the team's identity, which has helped them defensively. Him, along with Keaton Murray, those are two very strong defenders in their 6-man main rotation. Tonight they played about a 7-man rotation, but Keaton Murray and Keon Ellis are very good defenders, even though Jalen Brunson took his soul again tonight for the second time this season, which I'd love to see. Still, I thought he did a good job navigating our ball screens and trying to keep a man on Jalen Brunson, at least try to stop Jalen Brunson from killing them tonight and leave it to the other guys. Luckily, our other guys stepped up. I thought that the one thing that we struggled with guarding against the Kings was their dribble handoff plays, which is a cornerstone of their offense. They're probably the best dribble handoff team in the NBA because of that duo of Munt and Fox catching passes from Domantas Sabonis, who is probably the third best passer in the NBA, period, of any position. He's an incredible big, and we had some trouble navigating him as a screener and staying on the on-ball pressure. But I think we were able to adjust other ways. Really, I'm not going to talk too long, but hopefully this is a lead into other conversations. I was really impressed with our defense at the level and above. I thought we did a really good job limiting dribble penetration, a really good job not containing them on the perimeter, but showing and at least making the three-point shots that they were taking very difficult.
Yeah, a lot. I definitely agree with a lot of you saying. 10-3 is crazy, and if you look at some of the before and afters, it's kind of eye opening too. They were 6-0 in clutch time. Since Doug Christie has taken over, they have an offensive rating of number 2 since he's taken over.
Wow.
Every
Wow.
everything that they were good at before he's taken over, they're better at, and things that they weren't good at, he's improved there tremendously. Assist, I tell you right now, I had the thing open. Assist wise, they were number 17 in pace. They're number 15, number 5 now. That's kind of crazy. Defensive rating number 16 before, they're 8th since he's taken over. And sorry, where's the assist numbers? Assists, they were number 16. They're number 4 now.
Whoa,
So
great
he's
stats.
increased a lot of things that they've done. So this is a good win, no matter what
Yes.
people may tell you. But this is a good signature win because this was a very, very hot team. Like Lee mentioned, 10-3 since Doug Christie has taken over. So their team stats may look a little different than than what they're playing like. Keon Ellis might have got Mike Brown fired because they wanted to see more of him, and he
Right.
refused to play him. So that might happen. But again, we saw just a great team defense. Great team win by the Knicks. One of the things that you can do with this Kings team is get to the line. They will let you get to the line. You can get in the paint here and there. And like Lee had mentioned about the adjustments defensively, when we lost a little focus, I think it was probably like the third quarter or so,
That
second
second
quarter,
quarter.
when they start leaking back into the game, it was because off of unset defense. Again, didn't matter make or missed, they were pushing. They were pushing to try to get us on unset basketball. I don't know what it is about the Knicks and not early saying who's their matchups. We get a lot of times lost in transition just off of who has who, thinking that somebody else has the other man and they don't. So you get wide open 3-pointers from Malik Monk like we got, and it kind of climbs into our league. We have to eliminate that drop coverage on certain teams. When you playing a team like the Sacramento Kings, who they operate in the mid range. That's where they want to get.
Yeah.
They're playing right into their hands doing that.
Yeah. I'm starting to wonder because there was a game, I think it was the Hawks game. After the Hawks game, Mikal Bridges was interviewed, and they was talking about, like how the Knicks play defense, and they talked about Cat specifically. And Mikal Bridges mentioned that Cat is getting used to playing the 5 and not the 4, and that he was happy to see Cat come up. So when I'm watching this game today and I'm seeing Cat drop, I have to think, is this Cat not executing the scheme, or is he just going back into like habits? You know what I'm saying? And I have to think, because for Mikal to mention that versus the Hawks, and for Cat to be moving up against the drop off against the Hawks and actually having hands up and stuff, and today with Cat, for me, probably Cat was the worst player on the floor to me today, actually. I think that had a lot to do with why he only played 27 minutes, to be honest with you. But I have to start to think, like, is that supposed to be the scheme? Because it didn't look like, I don't think he's supposed to be doing that all the time, especially with guys like Malik Monk.
I want to say scheme wise, because Precious did it a bunch of times too. So it wasn't just Cat. It was also Precious. Precious did a better job defensively than Cat did today. I can say that. But it's still in spurts where he just dropped. He dropped and allowed either Fox to get a good look or Malik Monk to get a good look in that drop coverage.
Precious was low-key player of the game. Low-key.
But he definitely dropped a lot of times in that pick and roll coverage. I was actually saying why do they keep doing that? They're feeding into Monk what he wanted to do. They literally was helping him score against us.
I thought Precious Achiuwa's defense and drop was actually pretty good. When we began to lose a lead in the second quarter, it wasn't because of Precious. Precious was doing a good job guarding the rim, and he would guard his man. The shot would be missed. Sabonis would get an offensive rebound and kick it out, and then that trailer would be the one that would score. But it wouldn't be Precious's fault. I thought Precious did a good job at least containing his man and stopping those initial attacks. It was Cat and drop that really killed us in that second quarter. He adjusted in the second half. We still saw moments of it, but it was less.
He definitely adjusted in the second half when it came to rotating, recovery, and denying that pass to Sabonis. But when it came to picking and choosing, like again, when Monk was able to drop, he had some instances in that too. But when it came to recovery, yeah, Precious did a wonderful job, especially denying those post passes. I think he had 2 back-to-back steals that way actually.
And he was a really good rim protector today. I think it helps that this team is small.
Yes.
So this is probably the perfect matchup. Like even versus Sabonis, I feel like he did good versus Sabonis. He did really good against penetrators. He was intimidating. Like there was a couple of times he blocked a shot, and then a couple of times he just stunted like he's about to do something and caused somebody to miss. He was actually an intimidator today. Like he only had 4 points, but highest plus minus on the team plus 27. And to me, like the two stretches that really stood out, and everybody, the starters really played well. Like 23 points from the starters is no joke.
Insane.
But we once again built the lead with the bench. When the bench was in, well, like it was neck and neck with the starters and the King starters. When the bench came in, it was a 10-point lead for the Knicks, and that it was with Shamet and Precious. And kind of the same thing in the end of the fourth quarter. I mean, Mikal Bridges had a lot to do with the scoring, but I felt like Precious defense again was very instrumental in helping build that lead in the third and fourth quarter. So I thought Precious caught his stride defensively today.
I agree.
To work on that, we can't just we gotta work on a little bit. It was almost 4 quarters. It really was almost 4 quarters. We had that little lapse, but we got to work on lack of focus, kind of, because again we were beating ourselves even in that run. They didn't do much to make us lose the lead. It was us not getting back and them being able to pick us apart because we're not set. We're not matched up the way we wanted to be.
Yeah.
We even limited a lot of those bad switches. We caught a bad one with the Mikal on Sabonis, but that's being limited. The switching with the smaller guard on the bigger player,
and that was because Cat didn't run back fast enough. So Sabonis Brunson on that play, Brunson ended up on Sabonis, and Mikal switched on Sabonis to like try to save Brunson. And then Cat got into the play later, and he wasn't able to get on Sabonis because he was guarding somebody at the top of the key and ended up in a mismatch. But now you're absolutely right. Like we did a better job limiting those types of switches, and we did a horrible job of just not playing defense for like 3 straight minutes in the end of the second quarter. Well, I think Josh Hart was guarding Malik Blount, I believe, and I feel like he wasn't really guarding him for like that stretch, but. Knicks really, really good job just putting a foot down after that. And although it kind of got close, we did a really good job of responding and clamping down on defense and keeping with offensive principles and really just putting the game away.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I agree. Like in that bench, rewarding Tibbs for trusting in him. And Tibbs, he had said something in the post game before I turned it off. He said, "The game talks to you. The game will tell you what you have to do. Facts on facts." And finally, Tibbs, you're listening to what the game is telling you.
Follow your own advice.
Exactly. Exactly. Because he listened. Granted, I thought Shamet could have came in a little earlier, but I'm not going to nitpick because he was in there. In the second, and he did let him show out. The same thing with Precious, rewarding Precious for his good play today. He was able to let Cat get a well rested. He got a big rest.
Yeah.
Same thing for Jalen Brunson again. We get finding big amount of rest and stretches for our stars. Those non-Jalen Brunson minutes don't look the same anymore right now.
Exactly.
The energy from Kim, from Shamet, from Deuce and Precious has been noticeable on both ends. They're fighting through screens. They're trying to get you the extra attempt. They're being aggressive. Campaign might not score a billion, but he'll get into that paint. He keeps his dribble alive and looking for the next person and the next best shot. That's all you can ask for. Again, taking the primary role off of Jalen Brunson as the playmaker. Others doing that, helping him. He looks more freely. Today, might be the most off-ball Jalen Brunson points I've seen all season. Like majority of his points came of him off ball. They was running double screens off ball for him. That's all we ask, and make it easier for your stars. They can't trap him if he doesn't have the ball. If he's not bringing the ball in front of the defense, and as a primary ball handler, they can't trap him doing that. And adjustments. So shout out Tibbs, the Knicks, for adjustments. That's all we ask for.
It really helps to be able to do that when you have such a fluid playmaker like Josh Hart, and we've chronicled this throughout the season. The action that Tibbs has been putting him in at the left elbow, set the screen, and then being able to hit the cutter off the screen, or being able to move the ball to the pass that leads to a shot in the perimeter has been really efficient. And I loved how he and Cat were employed as off-ball screeners to start the third. Thought that was really crucial to not set the second half and start off with a bunch of isolation shots. I liked that it was Bridges coming off of that Cat screen off ball on the left-hand side, freeing him up to either attack the dribble off the dribble or hit a three. To me, that helped us get into a flow early, coming out of the halftime. And that did our offense going downhill, and everyone really feasted off of that too. And I also wanted some shout outs on the defensive end. I thought Josh Hart, Deuce, and even Brunson, when there weren't really extreme switches, where it kept their man in front of them and at least made the shot diet be really difficult, specifically on Fox, making the Fox's shot selection really low percentage shots, and really lean into him being injured and forcing him to take shots, opposed to being a playmaker, which makes them even deadlier because they have so much shooting everywhere.
Yeah, I agree. And even like I feel like for the last week, the challenging of the threes have been a lot better. We've done a lot better challenging threes, getting into their body more without fouling. I think the effort on that end of the ball has been really good for us lately since we started getting blown out on threes. It seems like that's been a point of emphasis for us. And also just how talented we are offensively too. We have so many options offensively, guys, that I think this team and Tibbs, I think they're just still like tweaking stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, we know Cat's a passer. We know Jalen Brunson is the guy. You're going to start it with the pick and roll. Cool. Now it's like, all right, now you're going to sprinkle in some Josh Hart assists. Now we're going to sprinkle, like I said, last week was the first time I saw an OG Anunoby and Karl Anthony Towns pick and roll. I've never even seen it the whole year. That started to happen. Mikal Bridges off the post. We have a lot of options, man. We have a lot of options.
Yes, then that's all we ask though. Keep it fresh, keep it freestyling. Don't be so predictable where everybody knows. People probably thought that fourth quarter is going to be Jalen Brunson time, and that definitely did not really happen. He sprinkled in when he needed to. It wasn't repetitive. If he needed to go to the bucket, they didn't see it the whole game. So it was like, all right, I rock you to sleep real quick. You think I'm not involved, and then I got the ball and I'm going to the hoop now. And then he did a wonderful job of balance, of getting his and getting others. So when they thought he was going to take it, he was kicking it out. When they thought maybe he'd kick it out, he'll float it on them or pull up. Abusing Keon, abusing Fox. He little man Fox in that post a couple times also. So I love and I give him flack for it, for the defense, the angles, and he did a good job of that today. Just like you mentioned, keeping his man in front, and even when he was the pick and roll help, taking better angles to the ball handler, not giving them the corners.
Yeah, he's breaking up lobs on fast breaks. Like Brunson is playing, man. Like he's small. He doesn't have like the tools, but he maximizes every single part of his body the most he can. It's not for lack of heart when he has his defensive lapses. That's for sure.
Yeah, and Tibbs switching it up, play small again, small man lineup, and being very very loosey goosey with the rotations type of, trying Cat with the bench, and then trying Mikal with the bench, then trying, Cat and OG with the bench, but just mixing it up and going with what, like he said, letting the game talk to him, and him finally listening.
Word. And I'm just happy too. We got 12 Shamet minutes with 12 campaign minutes with 16 Deuce McBride minutes. keeping an eye on those things, man. Because this is a high-paced Kings team. I think one thing that we did really well today that I'm not really used to seeing us do is pushing the pace. Like I felt like we were even pushing the pace off of made baskets today. That's not really our MO. We usually just push the pace off of defense, but we was pushing the pace whether they made the shot or missed the shot. And the more we start to play the bench and the starters, the more we'll be able to do that full game, the more we're able to keep our rotations crisp. And I think Tibbs did a good job of kind of using everybody today. And even like the third quarter, like I remember last year, the starters used to just play the whole third quarter. It didn't matter what happened. The starters played the whole third quarter. Today we started to see the bench coming in the third quarter as well, trying to keep the legs fresh. Cat sat for mad long. He sat for like, I don't know, like half the third and half the fourth. So he only played 27 minutes today. So like I'm liking where this is going. It seems like we're building off of what was happening last week. And hopefully we can keep that momentum going.
I think that we found that move that Tibbs does every single year, again, around this time, late December, early January, where he made some adjustment to the rotations, the minute distribution, the lineup. And this year it's expanded back to a 9-man rotation, giving Landry Shamet not just minutes, but also at some points of a game, an opportunity to have plays ran for him, to where he can be a catch and shoot option, where I think if he was employed more, utilized at a higher rate, he could be a really dangerous weapon for us. And I wish that we got more opportunities on the offensive end. I like Campaign a lot. I think Campaign, we've talked about how chaotic he can be in a good way, but I think that Shamet is a more impactful offensive player than Campaign, because when Campaign's off, he will keep shooting. Yeah. And then now your bench minutes are in the negative in terms of plus minus on off. But Shamet is just such a consistent shooter, never takes a bad shot. And when he's open, man, he's got balls to steal. Pause. He knocks it down. I'm never worried about him not hitting a shot when he's wide open. It's more taking the right shot or getting caught in traffic or having to be a bailout option with a second or two on the shot clock. But yeah, I love what Tibbs did today. To me, he did game ball. There's many game balls. Pause again. Holy hell. Just to pass around. Brunson obviously was the maestro. Karl-Anthony Towns, extremely dependable. Josh Hart, and moving up to fourth on the franchise list of triple doubles. And Mikal Bridges and OG both having an unbelievable game offensively. Their size and versatility. The Kings did not know how to handle them, didn't know how to guard them, didn't have the personnel to guard them. Keon Ellis can't do everything. And TJ Murray was getting absolutely cooked by OG in the back door. And just every time OG drove the basket, manhandling them.
So was DeMar Lee. OG was cooking DeMar too.
and you know what? DeMar DeRozan is a name I see on Knicks Twitter for people clamoring for. Why don't we go out and get DeMar? I actually saw one really idiotic trade that was trade Mikal Bridges for DeMar, which is like, what? You want an equivalency of trading 5 first-round picks for 35-year-old DeMar DeRozan, who, as we saw tonight, is incapable of shooting a three. He won't even take them and gets cooked on defense. So I don't know. I mean, this is so short-sighted. I don't know if these kids are like Gen Z, idiots, or if these are people my age that are coming up with these unbelievable trade ideas, but they should be embarrassed either way. Yeah, man. Shout out to DeMar DeRozan's knees, Keon Ellis's soul, Domantas Sabonis's bat, De'Aaron Fox's finger, and Mike Brown's job, man. Shout out to the Knicks, man. We got that W.
Yeah, man. Yo, I feel like we broke the DeMar DeRozan curse today, man.
Oh yeah,
because DeMar DeRozan has cooked us for years, every single game, and today he looked like absolute garbage, and I loved it because this is the first time where we actually beat his team, but also didn't have him kind of just torch us for the first time. So I love that. I definitely love that. And yeah, I feel like the people who asking for DeMar DeRozan is like still remembering the DeMar DeRozan from even last year, because last year he had a decent season from the mid-range, which is why the Kings wanted to get him so bad. But I don't know, the Kings. I feel like the Kings are kind of like some Knicks fans, where the Kings GMs are like Knicks fans, where they just want to put everybody who's good at offense on the same team, and they think that's the answer all the time. He's scoring points, put him on the team, and it's like you look at that team and it looks so unbalanced, and they're a team that scores a lot of points but can't stop nobody, and that's exactly why you need a balanced offensive and defensive team. And I love DeMar DeRozan too, but I I was definitely hesitant to bring him on the Knicks, considering that we needed wings who can stop people here
And could shoot threes also.
and can shoot
That
threes.
gotta
Right.
you can't have your whole team in the mid range area, and that's basically what the Kings have.
Exactly.
They're bunch of mid range assassins. That's why they're like number 21 or so in 3-point attempts and 3-point percentage. They're not very high at all. All of their points come, and when they do the 3-point a shot that a lot comes off assisted. That's the only time they do assist, so they need to break down and then kick out. So I was worried about the chicken with when we come up with the chicken with our head cut off defense or this new style defense that we've been doing last couple of games, where it's very more disciplined and stunt and recovery kind of vibes.
Yeah, I'm
So
feeling those.
I think we won that. We won that today. That matchup.
That's a
But
fact.
styles.
Finally. Tired of getting schooled by DeMar DeRozan. Tired of that. Sheesh. Spin move, mid range, pull up, jumper. I'm tired of that joint. All right, let's get to these super chats though. Shout out to Sandman who sends us a $2 super chat. It says Achiuwa graduated from stone to fiber optic hands. I like
Damn,
that.
that's funny.
Yo, Achiuwa with a floater today too. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
floater over Sabonis. I see you, Achiuwa. Defensive player of the year type of style today, man. He was great. He was great for us today. Gregory Lee sends a $5 super chat. It says, "This is for Tibbs. Starting to listen, and us getting in the win ball movement is essential to our success." Yeah, absolutely. 40 assists. That has to be I'm guessing that's the highest assist total we've had this season so far. It's 40 assists. They have that in regulation and score 140 3 points. Yeah, that's crazy. 143 points in regulation is nuts.
Facts.
That's some NBA Jam type of.
I think he had like 13 assists in the first quarter. Like, if I'm not mistaken.
It was crazy. Then we got 2 players who have double-digit assists is nuts.
Mm-hmm.
On the same
This is the
game,
first time since 2002.
Yeah. And then you got Mikal Bridges who had 27 points himself, and he almost had 10 assists. He had 7 assists. It's like, this team is passing out right. They is like really no agenda basketball that was being played today. And that's lovely. Super lovely.
And no hesitation once they got it. I noticed that with OG. No hesitation and less dribbles from him.
Exactly.
Very decisive for what he wanted to do.
Let's keep it that way. And let's keep that momentum going versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Let's get it. When we play the Grizzlies again? Memphis plays.
Mm-hmm. Don't get me
Monday.
Play them Monday. Oh, so we got a little day off. That's cool. It's cool. I'll take it. All right. Anything else you want to mention, or you want to go to the oohs and bras and maybe some, or is there some comments you want to?
Yeah, I wanted to say real quick because I agree with Lee about most things. Shaman, his offense, because what I saw in the preseason and how reliable throughout his career he's been just as a role player. I was the same, wasn't worried about it. It's just him working back from that injury. I saw him when he was in the flow game, the flow of things, how it looked in that preseason looked pretty good. Like, yes, we found a piece. So his offense, when he was missing, I was like, all right, he's just got a couple games under his belt. You got to let him work back into that. It was just, I always was just keeping my eye out on the defensive end. And I felt that he was doing well on that end too, except for like he had like 2 straight games where he got cooked a little bit. I could say that. He got cooked a little bit.
OKC.
Yeah. So, it's just that he's going to be a big piece, I believe, off the bench. I think, again, with the bench, just letting them gel, letting them find each other, letting them do their thing, they'll be okay. What I did disagree with Payne is that, yes, he can shoot you. He done never seen a shot he doesn't like. But when it's off, he also helps get playmaking for other people. I really don't see that so much yet in Shaman's game. Maybe he can show that to me as the season goes by. But when Payne can't get his shot or is off, he does get into that lane very often. He can get into that lane area where his aggressive and handle. So I think that's probably why he might get a lot more minutes. And even today, though, Shaman and Deuce was it Shaman and Precious were the first off the bench. So That was a different little lot change up from for Tibbs, because normally it is Payne that's up there with Deuce first. So I like Shaman a lot. I think people were going to change their a lot of people will change their takes on him as the season goes by.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm just waiting when people talk when discussions are had about trading for bench players and bench points and stuff like that. I'm just waiting for Shaman to come back around.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for Shaman to come back around. You know
And I gotta give shout outs to the Knicks for going back to what works. Mikal ended the second half with like 2 straight buckets. I think he had like 4 straight points or something like that. First play, New York goes back to Mikal. Keep it going. If it's working, they found something, they going back. Same thing with OG. He's going off. They didn't go away from him. They continue to find him. So these are some of the things we asked for, and the Knicks are starting to give us. So, I point it out when they don't do it. I got to point it out when they do.
Fair.
Very fair. All right,
Yeah.
all right. Salute to the chat. Any comments you want to read? But shout out to the chat though. Shout out to JT Riddick, who sends a $9.99 super chat. Says, "You're saluted, great win. All 82. Salute to the panel. Appreciate what y'all do. Appreciate that, JT, man. Always appreciate you, man."
Yep.
Let me see.
Also,
Sims Hive.
Go ahead.
I see the Sims Hive. Prezi the boss. Shout out Sims Hive.
Shout out Sims High and Prezi. Shout out to Anna Grill, Gregory Lee. Shout out to David Smith. Shout out to Knicks Nation TV. Everybody else is rocking with the show. Stanley Mann, salute to you as well. He was here earlier. I'm not sure if he's still here, but salute to you. Everybody rocking this show. If you like that show, hit that like and subscribe. We here after every game talking Knicks basketball, and we'll be here talking Knicks versus Memphis Grizzlies as well. So stay tuned for that on Monday. Also, I have to confirm, but we're supposed to have a guest on Monday. But I gotta confirm. We're supposed to have Dexter Henry on Monday.
Okay.
Bet.
Yeah, we're supposed to have Dexter Henry on Monday, but let me confirm to make sure that's still a go. For that Knicks Memphis Grizzlies game. I want to see John Morant play. I know people were like, John Morant's been injured. I want to see him play in the Garden. I'm sorry. I want to see that. I just want to beat him. That's all. I just want to beat him. All right. But stay tuned for that on Monday. Ooh picks and bruh picks. You guys have any ooh picks or bruh picks today?
I have ooh picks and bruh picks, but I just want to say I didn't say maybe in the pregame. I didn't say maybe we'll see the bench today, and we got to see the bench today. I said I was going to stop saying that, and we got to see him. So maybe I'm on to something, and it was something to see Tyler with a defensive lineup, because granted he did make defensive mistakes. You didn't notice them because you had people to help limit me to erase those. So I see some disregard about Sims, but he was one of the people who helped Tyler, not look terrible on that end. Him and Toppin definitely did a good job of protecting while they was there. And I know it was small sample size, but that's what that could happen when you put him around defense. If we want to see a little bit more of Tyler, maybe that's an option. But my bruh pick is Fox and Devin Carter, hairline and barber.
Bruh.
De'Aaron Fox and Devin Carter's hairline and barber. Those are my bruh picks because those was atrocious. And I don't know who told them it looked good, but it don't. So
yeah,
that's my bruh pick.
Damn, I was kind of low key noticing that, but I didn't just gonna put it as a bruh pick. I was like, man, if he went to New York, your hairline would never look like that. That's crazy.
So those are my bruh pick, just because De'Aaron Fox always got a name in there, so I will forever be a hater of his. And I'm sorry, Devin Carter.
I'm here for petty bruh picks. I'm here for that.
I know your father played for us, but that haircut on the end hairline and something need to go. Something need to happen.
Yeah,
different.
something got to give. Cool.
That's it. That's my bruh picks.
I got ooh pick for sure.
Okay.
What you got?
Ooh pick. Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns named to the All-Star game as starters. First Knicks duo named as starters in 50 years. 50. All the talk about LaMelo Ball having the most votes and oh my gosh, Jalen Brunson is fourth. Nah. Coaches, fans, everybody came through, and we got 2 starters in the All-Star game. Let's go.
Facts on facts. And I guess I could put my pick as the Knicks fans who came through in the clutch because it didn't look like it was gonna happen at first, and Knicks fans putting pressure on each other, and them votes started, going up. So shout out, not repeating last year.
It also looks like that Brunson still ended up third or fourth in fan voting at guard, but it was the players, coaches, and media that pushed him over the edge because more of them voted for him over LaMelo Ball or Cade Cunningham, which I think at this point, I think skill-wise, Cade Cunningham is more talented than Brunson, but Brunson's resume competes with really no other point guard in the NBA right now in terms of the playoffs, including the SGA. Brunson has been magnificent every single time he's been in orange and blue for us in the postseason. So until that changes this postseason, he's the best point guard in the NBA, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know how I feel about good players on bad teams. Granted, the Detroit Pistons are, what I think they're like 6, right?
Yeah.
They're like 6, and that could be, who knows, that could change. You got Orlando trying to find themselves and all that other stuff. The pace. A lot of people are playing well right now that were struggling. So we don't know, that could change. And when there's no expectations, you play freely. That's why shouts out to, like you just mentioned, Lee. Shouts out to Jalen Brunson, because when the lights is bright, he does his best work. So I agree. I think Cade is a tremendous talent. He just has to prove himself for me to be he's better than Jalen Brunson and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. Next season is going to be interesting season for the All-Star break for sure, with Cade having a full season and stuff. But extremely excited, super happy for Jalen Brunson to do it. And also the team, man. We number 3 in the East. Helps that we have winning basketball. All the complaining and nitpicking we've done this season about where this team is, how we are defensively, offensively. Hey, we're still number 3 in the East, and we're on a 3-game winning streak. Let's just keep this up and keep this going. Feeling good right now, man. All the field right now for Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns.
I got a oop hit to my main man, Leon Rose. I'm very happy that he has not made any reactionary trades. So thankful he doesn't listen to Knicks Twitter and the Mayor's police and pull the trigger on desperate moves, operating without leverage, trading away guys that are core members of the locker room, even if they don't play on the floor. I personally think for the first season, I agree with Ebony Free as me. I think that there's mass potential in Precious and Gerald Sims being spot saviors in the postseason if needed. Knock on wood, we don't, but I think there's a possibility that we do, and I'm glad that they're on the end of the bench to be able to come in and provide excellent rim protection, defense, and offensive rebounding, the cornerstones of Tom Thibodeau's schemes and coaching style. You got to have players that fit your coach's identity, and you can't be trading things off for guys like Jonas Valanciunas when your starting center is already an issue as a rim protector. You don't want your damn backup to be a cone as well. The trade no longer made sense for us. And I hope that Leon Rose continues to stand pat. I think if there was a move to be made, he would have already made it. He would have went out and got his guy as he's done every offseason. But I hope that we keep this team, and this is a team that goes forward once Mitchell Robinson is back and provides that unbelievable defense, rim protection, and offensive rebounding.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
No, I was saying, like, if you're looking at what the team really needs, it would be like that rim protecting big, which pretty much what Mitch is, and maybe like a wing, like a taller wing to help guard some, because we kind of short. But it's like, to get a wing, we're gonna have to trade somebody, and we don't have access to trade. So it's like, to me, it's like it's kind of rough to trade somebody right now. Like I seen some low level Sims trade stuff that's happening. Shout out to Lee, actually did like a breakdown of some Sims trades that can possibly be, but it would still be like hard to have whoever we get traded here to have like an immediate impact for the postseason for us. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be rough trying to address that need anyway via trade.
Ebony always brings up the excellent point that happened last year with Bodie and Burks, two guys who I love. It takes a while to wash off and get yourself out of the rust of losing basketball. And there might be really solid, talented vets on different teams. That's why I went after guys like with Gigi Jackson, who was at least in a winning culture. But if you're trying to have Valanciunas from the Wizards, he's been playing losing basketball now for the last year and losing basketball before that in New Orleans. It's going to take a while for him to play impactful, meaningful basketball and know the routes and the tendencies of the guys that he's sharing the floor with. So you need to take those things in consideration when making a major move like that.
Yeah. When we were talking about the Sims trade, I had said I trade that for time and gelling. That's it. It's impatientness, basically. You got to see what these players do when they're on the court with each other for periods of time. That's what we're seeing right now. That's why the season is long. We're seeing what time and gelling can do. Finally, that's why we've been nitpicking, because we know what style, what type of basketball this roster should be able to give you. If used correctly. And we're seeing a little bit more of that. Definitely. I guess this could be another broad pick, Nick Muse, because trading Mitch for Jordan Clarkson and we got to trade Mitch and a pick for Jordan Clarkson.
Mitch and a pick?
That's in a pick. It's absolutely nutty. And you need to put that trade machine down. It's not working for you. Go watch film with some box scores. Leave the trade machine alone. Terrible.
Mitch and the pick.
Make it make sense, folks. Make it make sense.
Yeah, man. I'm cool on that. I don't think the Knicks want to trade any picks. Period. I think we're done with the picks trade type of deal.
Agreed.
To be honest with you, like
100% agree.
Like we actually need to keep our picks at this point because we trade so many and our team is so top heavy. We have to count on drafting people. I saw some people mention Jacob Toppin. I think he's been having a good stint in the G League. I don't see Jacob Toppin crack any minutes this season. I'm not sure. Maybe next season if they feel like he can do something, but I don't see Jacob Toppin contributing this season. I haven't even seen anything about Pacone in a minute, actually, either.
He's hurt. Pacone and Dadier were hurt. Dadier not Pacone. I said Pacone and Dadier. Hawk Portier and Dadier. Hawk Portier is out with an illness and something with Dadier's toe.
Oh, Dadier's toe. So, dang. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That toe thing has been like 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks now.
Seemed about right.
Damn, not the toe jam. Okay.
The toe. Yeah, but I think I'm surprised. Really, Toppin has a size pause, and he is Thibodeau type player. Offense comes second to him. It's the defensive side that he hangs his hat on. So I was surprised, especially when we needed something from the bench that he didn't, and he's doing well. Very, very like what Deuce was doing in the G League. That's what Toppin is doing to the G League right now.
Right. And shout out to Gregory Lee. He says you're wrong, Jay Ellis. The Washington pick is not going to translate. That's the one worth trading. We've mentioned that since the summer. I've actually mentioned that myself that we have a Washington pick and we should trade it. Like that might be able to be used for a trade for Washington. When we were talking about the Jonas trade a while ago. So I'm totally aware of that. I just know at this point of the season where it seems like we don't really need a backup center anymore. And and that pick is only viable to Washington, really. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's not going to convey. And so, unless they have somebody else for us that we would need, which I really don't see at this point, then I don't really like that. Maybe that pick isn't viable to either of us at this point.
Not unless they trying to give us. I can't say his name, the Frenchman. They won't give us him. We'll take him. I know that. Right. That's the up and coming star. That ain't happening. What's his name? Cooler baby. I said Cooler baby.
By law, Kolabali. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
there
don't
you
know
go.
it.
I like the way he gets after on
Man, he's
defense.
solid player. Very good. Um, yeah, I think the best move. I like Jacob Toppin. Nice kid, solid player. His agent is Leon Rose's son, so kind of self-explanatory why he's still on the roster and why we haven't included him in the deal or shipped him out somewhere like Brooklyn or something. But I think to me, TJ Warren makes the most sense with that upcoming 15th roster spot. A ton of playoff experience, which is one of the boxes that a player must check for him to trade for you. And when you start thinking about Mikal Bridges and Cat, those are obvious. But even before that, Bodie and Burks, both lots of playoff experience, and acquiring those two guys, Dante DiVincenzo, another example of guys that he's acquired that had playoff experience. So to me, I think someone like TJ Warren just made sense. He's 6'8", he's balling it. He's not shooting too well from three. I think 35% right now, but he's playing very well output wise, including rebounding and defense in the G League. So to me, he would be the guy I think that he would bring up. And this competition there, in my opinion, between him and Shamit on who would get those minutes, because I think Payne and McBride are settled into their roles.
Yeah, nah, I agree. I definitely agree with everything you said. I
don't like
see.
TJ Warren. He's a bucket, personally.
No, yeah, TJ Warren's a bucket. And he's proven too. Like he's he's been proven in
Bubble
the
Warren,
bubble.
remember him?
Huh?
Bubble Warren.
Yeah, Bubble
remember
Warren
him?
was a thing, yo. Bubble Warren was a thing. That man was unstoppable. And it's funny because you'll see clips of him working out with the Knicks before he got like sent to the G League stuff. He was giving buckets to the Knicks. So I don't think it went anywhere. I don't think it went anywhere because it could just be like sometimes where the money is dispersed can kind of just influence like who stays, who goes. Like sometimes that's a deal. So they might have like a back channel deal to bring him back, because I know Lee talked about how that we'll be able to sign Warren after a certain amount of time, and that might be approaching. So maybe he will be back. But I would definitely keep an eye on that as well.
Yep.
Yeah, frees me. So I'm with TJ Warren. I had mentioned him earlier, but I know it's that contracting and had to wait, all the ins and outs of stuff that I really don't care about. To be honest,
Right.
that the cap room, I leave that to Fritz. That's his area expertise. But I was told that we have to wait until a certain date to make him a roster spot, right?
Right. Oh,
Yeah, it's coming up in a week and a half or something.
Okay.
So hey guys, do you guys have any thoughts on Chuma Kiki from the G League?
He's still on our G League team?
Yeah, he's playing pretty well, but I still want TJ Warren, personally.
Yeah.
And
I like his
Kiki is more of a two-way player, right?
He plays defense?
I don't know.
I believe so.
I can't speak on him. I just see the highlights in the stats. Like I know he dropped 30 points recently, and he was really good from three. He had like 7 threes. Wait, let me see these stats. 30 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, 7 threes. Pretty damn good game.
I can't see him playing in the playoffs, so personally.
Yeah, like I feel like anybody who haven't played in the playoffs, they're not gonna crack the rotation.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I like TJ Warren.
That's why TJ Warren, the vet, knows what to expect.
Yep.
Has been in pressure situations. So I guess I could see why he gets another spot or into the bench spot. Definitely.
Sandman says he plays defense better than Warren does.
Warren's not known for defense.
Yeah, right. That's a fact. So. That's something to keep an eye out on, because like I said, like the Knicks have to really, like, because we don't have any cap space and we need wings, we need to just be hoarding wings and developing those guys, kind of like the Raptors and the Heat, and like we just have to sit on these guys and have develop them over time. So hopefully somebody pops, whether it be Bacone, whether it be Kiki, Toppin. Hopefully one of those guys pop.
We got another game against Wings. The prototype of Wings. They got Jive. He plays. Got Bane. You got a couple wings. Was it Gigi Jackson's over there? He just came back off an injury, I believe, too. And then you can't forget Jaren Jackson Jr. So that's gonna be a good matchup. with him and Cat.
Yes, it is. They also have some very sneaky bids like Jay Huff and Zach Edey, who are very solid offensively and very good rebounders too. So
Yeah,
they've
what's
had a
that
lot of
guy?
success.
Sorry, Lee. What's the guy? Altana. I'm terrible with last
Santi
name.
Aldama, I think he
There you
might be
go.
injured right now, but
Oh,
the lineups where JJJ's played the four next to Edie have been really successful and extremely hard to stop because you just have you just it's unbelievable rim protection. Also a lot of good scoring. Both those guys are good passers. JJJ has become a better scorer this season too. So you're right. That's going to be a test. I think Tibbs needs to play Sims. Personally, the matchup calls for it. I don't want to see no pressures at the 5.
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree too, Lee. And the crazy part about Triple J is that I always said I never thought him as a center, and his FIBA play kind of solidified that for me. When he was the 5, and we needed more rim protection and more of the grit on that team. So I could see why him and Edie work well, kind of like what I believe Mitch and Cat will be.
Well said.
Good point. Good point. All right. Good show, guys. Like the discussion after the post game. That's how we do, y'all. If y'all like that show, man, hit that like and subscribe. We have to have game talking Knicks basketball. Hopefully you enjoyed the Knicks breakdown. And we'll be back. Hopefully we'll see what's up with Dexter Henry. Maybe he'll be joining us on Monday. But definitely tune in either way as we talk Knicks versus Grizzlies. Okay? Cool. Ebony, let them know they can find you.
You can find me here after every post game. You can find me at pregame on Twitter at Your Take Knicks. Also at Mad Knick Fan on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. I think that's it.
All
Twitter,
right.
Twitch. Yeah, that's it.
Lee,
And
let them know they
Bowling
can
with the
find you.
Queens.
And I don't know if you have any book club mentions as well.
I do, but I left the damn book in my car, so I'll have to mention it next game. Find me on Twitter at _Leescobedo, LEEESCOBEDO. Did see an unbelievable film the other day. Highly recommend The Brutalist. If you have 3.5 hours to kill, go to a theater and see the new film starring Adrian Brody as a Holocaust survivor who escapes Eastern Europe and lands in America in the late 40s after the war. And he's an architect in his hometown of where's Budapest, Hungary. And there he was known for kind of a starter postmodern architecture, and he brings it to America after suffering some odd jobs and working blue collar jobs. He gets an opportunity to build a community center, and the film is kind of a metaphor for the experience of the immigrant in America. And even though you come from an artistic background, an educated background, you still have to start from the very bottom, the primordial ooze, and dig yourself out of it and make a name for yourself. And how hard that is as a creative person to do that with no money, no access, and no protections from the federal government. And it's also a story about survival of the spirit, the artistic spirit, and trying to use your hands and your mind to build something that will outlast you. Beautiful film, The Brutalist.
All right.
Fritz said he made the building 10 minutes away from him.
That's what's up.
Oh, dope. Very
right.
cool.
That's what's up. All right. Shout out to Lee for that recommendation. I have no new anime recommendations. I've just been watching the Evo thing on Netflix. It's just the boxing anime. I feel like a lot of them have been ending. Like I think Tower of Terror season 2, or Tower of War season 2 ended. Bleach ended. So I'm just waiting for some new things to pop up and get into. But that's the show, guys. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be here on Monday for sure. And just in case you guys don't know, as always,
shout out the World Wide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here in these Knicks streets. That's the show. We out of here. Peace.
New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.